The Mets, step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town, of New York town.
What a smart effing move by the New York Mets. Hello, folks. It's Tyler here from Wardy NYM. We're back with ourselves a breaking live stream as the New York Mets have acquired veteran Southpaw from the Tampa Bay Rays in Rich Hill. And in return, the Mets gave up Tommy Hunter, who they signed in the offseason, reliever who's out for the remainder of the year thanks to injury, and also a high A, or I believe low A, catching prospect, which is out of the top 30 for the Mets prospects. This was a phenomenal move, and I'm going to break down exactly why this makes so much sense for the Mets. If you're a Mets fan just chiming in, thank you so much for being here. If you're a baseball fan just chiming in, thank you so much for being here, guys. Trust me, this is a phenomenal move for the Mets. If you think that this does not make any sense, then you simply have not been following the Mets and what's been going on with them, especially as of late. So that's what I'll be breaking down in today's stream. Everything there is to know about this trade currently with Rich Hill going to the New York Mets, when we could potentially see him even pitch for the Mets sooner than later, and why this just makes so much sense for more reasons than one. So again, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Really, really appreciate you all. So pumped, so amped about this. I literally, guys, I was supposed to be out away, honestly, with family, out of town for the weekend. I chose not to do that because I had a strong feeling the Mets would be making trades either today or tomorrow. And coincidentally enough, it has begun, given all the lack of pitching depth they currently have with this team. But if you're just chiming in the stream again, if you're excited about this Mets trade and you're eager to find out more details about it, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe on. If you're just chiming in, guys, help us get to 8,000 subs by August. It would mean a lot. And of course, if you just enjoy consistent Mets content, this is the place to be. Help us get to 100 likes, guys. But awesome trade. Let's just start with that. I see a lot of you guys in the chat. Kyle, Watermelon. If I miss your name, guys, please don't take it seriously. I'm going to be answering questions with you all throughout the stream. But this is massive for the Mets, okay? So let's start on the forefront. How did we get here, right? Ryan, what's up, guys? So we got to this point for the Mets because they don't have starting pitching depth. And let me start by saying that Jacob deGrom is fine. If any of you guys think that this goes in hand with Jacob deGrom's injury, it really doesn't. And the meaning for that is the Mets already have been lacking starting pitching depth outside of deGrom. Okay, so we have deGrom, we have Walker, we have Stroman. That's your three. Jake's on the IL. He looks like he's going to be back, though. Everything is going according to plan as he's been throwing, and according to Zach Scott, everything is in line for him. Looks like he's going to be perfectly fine. This is not why they acquired Rich Hill. It has nothing to do with Jacob deGrom. It has to do with the fact that they don't have any starters outside of those three this year. Tyler McGill, who's been a revelation for this club, he's still not a guy the Mets are for sure going to be depending on down the stretch. So you have him as it is, but again, you don't know how much you're going to be getting there for the remainder of the year. And outside that, you don't even have a fifth starter, let alone a Southpaw. With David Pearson still weeks away out with injury, really his sophomore season, even though he's been way up and down, as we know. Not a guy you can bank on down the stretch this year. Joey Lucchesi, Joey Fuego, Mr. Churv, he's out for the year with Tommy John surgery. They needed to land a southpaw. That's why they were showing interest in Tyler Anderson from the Pirates, and also some other potential notable names like Wade Miley, even though that he would have been stretching more from the Reds. this is a fantastic deal for the New York Mets. They get a veteran southpaw that, if you guys don't know, the Mets showed plenty of interest in the offseason. We did a video on it here on the channel, guys. So if you haven't checked it out, please do if you want to get a little bit more informed on Rich Hill and his game. But even though he's in his even though he's definitely up there in age, we're aware of this, he can still get the job done. Dick Mountain, as people love to call him, given his name, it's kind of funny, a play on words. But no less, Rich Hill, he has a sub-4 ERA on this season for the Rays. He has been as good as of late, but again, he's a guy that has playoff experience. He has just over a 3 ERA and playoffs, most notably during his time in his runs with the LA Dodgers. So he has playoff experience. He knows what it takes to win, and he's a southpaw. The Mets don't have any southpaws in this rotation. They desperately needed a guy like this, and it makes so much sense. So my goodness gracious, this was just such a smart move by the Mets, and they gave up nothing for him. Normally, the Tampa Bay Rays, when you make a trade for a guy like him, or make a trade for anyone for that matter from Tampa, you're wondering, why does Tampa even want to, get any type of deal done with a team without them really coming out on the better half at the end? But Tommy Hunter, nothing to worry about. He's injured. He might not even play a game for the Rays, to be quite honest, because I'm pretty sure he's only on a 1-year deal. And then you have a low A catching prospect that's out of the top 30 for the Mets. That was the only other piece going the other way. So maybe years down the line, the Rays turn him into something great, but the Mets already have their catching figured out with James McCann, now Tomas Nido, and Francisco Alvarez, who's their top catching prospect and who's been a stud. And with Brooklyn. I just saw him hit a home run in Brooklyn a couple days ago. I was there live. So awesome trade for the Mets, guys, just on the forefront. If you want to know who exactly they trade again, I'm not going to repeat it the entire time you see it. It's right on the screen. I also have it down here in the bar. So again, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on. If you're happy about this trade, if you're excited, it's finally trade season, not just across the league, but also for the New York Mets. And I also would like to say another thing, guys. The Mets landing Rich Hill does not prohibit them from landing another starter. This does not impact the likes of a Jose Barrios not all that much, because the Mets still need to add depth. They're not going to bank on Carlos Carrasco and Noah Syndergaard to see if they heal up and if they can get the job done. There's so much uncertainty there, and you can never have enough starting pitching depth. So while Jose Barrios is more so on the outside looking in right now, just given the actual price it will take to land him, do not be surprised to see the Mets land another significant starter in this rotation from now until the July 30th trade deadline, which is exactly 1 week away next Friday. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to keep asking. I'm going to keep reiterating what has happened in this trade because it is so massive for the Mets. Again, they need starting pitching depth. This is what they got. They got a veteran southpaw. If you look at Rich Hill by the numbers a little bit further this season, he's 6-4 on the year in 19 games played. He has a 3.87 ERA and just under 100 innings pitched, 91 strikeouts, a 1.16 whip. He hasn't looked all that great over his past 7 games. He's been looming right over a 5 ERA, but again, anything can change. I love Jeremy Hefner, the Mets pitching coach as well. Not that he'd have to do too much with Rich Hill because he's such a vet in the league, but no less. The Mets showed interest in him in the offseason. The Mets were one of 3 teams that were heavily pursuing Rich Hill in the offseason, and no less, of course, the Tampa Bay Rays picked him up. Made sense, but the Rays have more starting pitching depth than they would know what to do with right now, so they were willing to get rid of a guy like Hill for basically nothing, knowing that it's not going to hurt them down the long run. But for the Mets side of things, they needed a southpaw more than anything. It's not like they just need pitching depth because they don't even have a starter ready for Sunday. They were trying to get Cookie Carrasco back on Sunday, but they didn't want to rush him because he just got shelled in his last rehab assignment in Syracuse, giving up 5 runs in like 1.2 innings pitched. So Rich Hill might even be starting Sunday. I'm actually going to look at the last time he started, so bear with me. I could be wrong on that, but all I know is this is pitching depth, guys. It doesn't matter how old Rich Hill is. He's been one of those rare pitchers in the league, kind of like a Bartolo Colon, if you will, where age has not been a factor in his performance. He's not a guy that's going to overwhelm you with his stuff. He has the nasty curveball. He has some nasty breaking stuff, and that's what you get with a guy like Rich Hill, a flashy, a really technique-based southpaw that is the polar opposite of this entire Mets rotation. They've been needing an exact guy like this. So trust me, guys, this is not a bad move whatsoever. If you think this is a bad move from the Mets perspective, that's a perfectly fine opinion to have. You're just wrong. I'm just going to be blunt about it. You're just wrong. There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. And the Mets are not done making trades either, guys. So keep that in mind as well. They're just getting started. But again, if you're just chiming in, guys, the Mets did acquire southpaw veteran from the Tampa Bay Rays and Rich Hill. In return, it's going to be reliever Tommy Hunter, who will not be playing again this season thanks to injury, unfortunately. Wishing the best for Tommy. I like that guy. And also a low A catching prospect outside the top 30 prospects for the Mets. My goodness, my gracious. He's H&A. He's awful. It's okay to be a casual Mango. That's fine. If If you by any stretch of the imagination do not think this is a smart move, you're not paying attention to the times. The Mets need arms desperately in this rotation right now, and they got one of the better southpaws in the game of baseball still today. I love it. It's exactly what the Mets need. They've been needing this kind of pitcher. Not like any arm. They definitely need any arm, but they were smart enough to land a guy that, one, they desperately wanted in the offseason, but the Rays swooped him up over the Mets. And two, they get a guy that's a southpaw. Again, the Mets don't have lefties. This is a big factor in this. Hope you guys understand that. If this was a righty that was throwing the way he did, the Mets probably wouldn't go after him, but he's a southpaw. I guarantee you that was a heavy factor into the decision-making here, folks. The Mets desperately needed a guy of his caliber. So this is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Dick Mountain, as people love to call him. But let's get into the numbers a little bit further, folks. So the last time, okay, there you go. Okay, so the last time Rich Hill pitched in a game was July 18th, folks. He is lined up and very well could pitch this Sunday for the Mets. There you go. There you go. We'll see if that comes to fruition, but Rich Hill very well could be pitching for the Mets this Sunday. So overall, I think this is a phenomenal move for the Mets. I'm not floored by this at all. I think this is exactly what they have been needing. And I'm not expecting Rich Hill to come into the Mets and dominate. We just need him to eat some innings for the Mets, have a southpaw so you have options in this rotation. And trust me, guys, the Mets are still going to be making more trades leading up to the MLB trade deadline. And you already know we'll be talking about it, of course. So thank you all so much again for being here. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Continue to let me know your thoughts here on Rich Hill and everything. This is just, from all accounts, this is a very smart move, and a really, I would even go to the lengths of saying a slight fleece by Zach Scott and Sandy Alderson, because when you make a trade with the Tampa Bay Rays and you for certain win in the end, I know Tampa doesn't get hurt by this because they don't need Rich Hill anymore, but it's a win-win for both sides. I think we can at least agree on that. Just my goodness gracious. This is wow, this is awesome. And yes, I will be streaming tonight. I will be streaming tonight's game for the Toronto Blue Jays against the Mets. I will also have Jim from Ballcap Sports, which will be with us. And I will also have good friends at Blue Jays Today will be in the stream later on because Jim won't be able to stay for the entirety of the stream. So we'll get that stream set up once this stream is done. But guys, let me know your thoughts. How are you feeling about this move for Rich Hill? If you're watching this live or on replay, again, thank you so much for being here. Tyler, I honestly wanted the Mets to make smart moves and not go all out. Let's see here. Says Zurius. I think the system's 2 weeks to get Bryant when we can sign him in a couple of months. Well, here's the thing. If the Mets land Bryant, it's because they're really trying to make a run this year. You have to realize that. Trade for him. I get it that a lot of fans are reluctant to lose some prospects. I perfectly understand you don't want to overspend for anybody, but the Mets are going to be adding guys leading up to the deadline because they truly feel they have a chance to go all in this year. And that's a really exciting thing. And that's still with Lindor out with injury, but he'll be back sooner than later. He's ahead of schedule, according to Zach Scott, with his oblique injury. And Jacob deGrom is looking very much on pace to be back right off the IL once his 10 days are done, which is soon. What a move. Have I seen the Cleveland's new name? Yeah, I don't love it. I honestly don't love the logo. I understand why they do because they have the Guardians like by them, like actually like on the road there or whatever it is in Cleveland. I don't love it, to be quite honest with you, but just because it reminds me of the Angels. It reminds me of the Angels' original old logo that had the wings on it. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Guardians makes me think of a guardian angel. So I thought they could have been more creative, but I understood why they did what they did. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I'm kind of, in the middle at this point. We ain't done yet. No, we are not, guys. No, we are not. And again, I'm just, this was just such a smart move from all accounts. All accounts, this was a very, very smart move for the Mets. And again, you get a guy with playoff experience, folks, and that's something that's key that we cannot overlook here. The Mets are expected to hopefully win the division this year and potentially have a deep run. If you're going to have a potential deep run, you need to make sure that you have some guys with some playoff experience or at least can get you to that point. And Rich Hill is definitely a big part of that. So even if he is, say, a little subpar for the remainder of the Mets season down the stretch, he very well could find himself stepping up and feeling a little rejuvenated come playoff time like he's done in the past, folks. And that's what makes this all that more pivotal. And again, this was a very smart, very low-key move for the Mets. Nothing where they gave up the farm for by any stretch. And I don't know what else to say. This is just wow. I'm honestly a little flabbergasted because this is a better move than I expected them to make for immediate starting pitching help. Because when you're looking at the Barrioses and guys, while Jose Barrios maybe doesn't feel as likely, it's not out of the realm of possibility if the Mets are actually going in on him. So remember that. The Mets are going to add one more starter. I feel strong with that. I don't think that it is for sure eliminated that the Mets don't land a Jose Barrios. a John Gray, if you will, potentially someone from the Reds if they find themselves selling. There are plenty of other starting pitching options for the Mets. Don't be surprised if they add one more. That is what I will say. I personally will be pretty surprised if the Mets do not add another starter. They desperately need to, in my mind. They cannot bank on Carlos Carrasco and Thor, who have proven nothing to the Mets at this point in time. And as much as I love Jacob deGrom as dominant as he is, if he continues to have these little nagging injuries for the remainder of the year, they need to make sure that they can also have stability in this rotation in a scenario where he is, say, gone again for at least another 10 days. So just because Cookie's coming back and just because Thor can potentially be back in September, that doesn't mean they're going to be dominant, guys. Nor does that mean that they're people that you should be banking everything on. My goodness. Such a smart move by the Mets, folks. So again, continue to let me know your thoughts. Would really, really appreciate it. Trade for Scherzer. Scherzer ain't happening. I don't see the Mets going after Scherzer one bit. No, I don't see the Nationals even entertaining that, nor do I think the Mets would really go in for him. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about this move from the Mets side of things. It just makes so much more sense. So let's break down a little bit further, shall we, on his game. So Rich Hill, again, if you're just chiming in, guys, Mets have landed Southpaw Rich Hill. If you're watching this a replay, thank you for being here also. 19 games played for the 41-year-old Southpaw, a pitcher that the Mets showed plenty of interest in the offseason, but just fell short to the Tampa Bay Rays in acquiring him. 6 wins to 4 losses, a 3.87 ERA, 95.1 innings pitched, 91 strikeouts, and a 1.16 whip. He hasn't looked as great over his past 7 starts, really since the kind of like the substance crackdown a little bit. But again, Rich Hill's not a guy that's using anything crazy sticky. I think it's just more of a grip situation with him, and he has to adjust now. But he has a 5.4 ERA over his past 7 games. Again, nothing drastic. The Mets just needed an arm, and I think they got an above-average arm for what they gave up here. So I really like that. If you look at Rich Hill's career numbers, Hill's a guy that has struggled to be healthy in the past, mainly because of blisters. This guy gets blisters left and right. I remember multiple years, especially with the Dodgers, it was just a constant thing for him, unfortunately. And that really goes in hand with his pitch grips, obviously, because he has some nasty breaking balls. But no less, Hill, in 311 games played this year, his career, has 73 wins to 48 losses. That's impressive for a win-loss record. Granted, I know wins only mean so much, hence Jacob deGrom. 3.80 ERA career, so that's right in line with what he's doing this season. And over 1,071.1 innings pitched, he has 1,126 strikeouts and a 1.22 whip. Rich Hill has been awfully consistent as long as he's healthy and on the mound, and this is a massive pickup for the Mets in a lot of ways. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think this is better than what I originally expected for them to add an arm as soon as this weekend, and Rich Hill is lined up to pitch this weekend as well. Rich Hill, a retired player. I don't even know what that means, conflicto. You have me conflicted there. Let's see. Dora has never been a reliever, and he's been one of the most dominating starts. So why would he put him in the pen? Zuri says you're having a discussion with someone else. Okay. I will say, though, that the only exception to having Thor in the pen is that the Thor doesn't outperform others coming back from injury this year in the rotation, and he's better suited in the pen because when playoff time happens, that's where you can get really creative. If you say have upwards of 6 or even 7 starters that could all potentially be part of the rotation, that's where you get unique playoff time. I don't see Thor even being considered out of the pen, though, during the season now. I think that would only be a playoff exception where we've seen, the Clayton Kershaws of the world on short rest, closing out games and stuff like that. That's different. But again, those are unique situations that don't necessarily happen all that often. It's only around playoff time. How can you not love this trade? Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, James. Yeah, again, I love every single thing about this move. Again, this is exactly what the Mets needed. I cannot stress that enough with you all. I'll take this deal any day. Same here. Bring back Big Sexy now. We all love Big Sexy, but he ain't coming back. Let's be real here. Why are the Rays selling? The Rays only sold because they have enough pitching depth to not be hurt by losing a guy like Rich Hill, and they bring a potential prospect that can maybe be something for them one day. If there's any team that I could see making the Mets prospect they coughed up, who's a low-A catcher, it's the Tampa Bay Rays. It's what they're known for. They make absolutely something out of nothing every single year. So in a couple of years, who knows? Maybe that guy will be solid for them. But Mets don't even need to worry about that catching depth because Francisco Alvarez is their stud prospect. He's not going anywhere, and he is their future by far. Love that kid. Do I think the Mets are going to give Michael Conforto an extension? I do think that the likelihood is stronger given Conforto's lack of success this year and being out with injury. I think that actually benefits the Mets more by far than it does Conforto and trying to get a massive deal of what he's looking for. Just in time, yes. I had a feeling the Mets were going to make a trade tomorrow, guys. For everyone just joining the stream, thank you so much for being here again. I was very hesitant to, go about my day. I was about to go get a haircut too, so I'm glad I didn't do that. I've been contemplating on potentially going to the Mets game tomorrow. I have a little bit more interest now, knowing the Mets got a arm that will probably be starting Sunday, or maybe I'll try to see his debut if he is in fact starting Sunday. That might be cool. I don't know. Either way, though, I've been very on edge as we were getting closer and closer to the MLB trade deadline, as the Mets are inevitably going to be making deals. It is not going to stop. This only begins with Rich Hill. Now it's going to be the domino effect, folks, where we see Rich Hill added for the rotation. I expect at least one other arm. I think it'll be honestly a little foolish if the Mets don't at least add one more arm in this rotation. They need it now, because now the Mets have, once DeGrom is off the IL, they have 3 to 4 starters that they're feeling pretty comfortable with, that being DeGrom, Stroman, Walker, Hill, and Tyler McGill. But again, McGill's a guy that lacks experience. He's looked like a stud in his first 5 starts with the Mets. Will this be something that continues and he be a godsend for them down the stretch? It's possible, but I'm not going to bet the farm on it, nor are the Mets. So that's why they're going to add their depth. They got their Southpaw. I love it. Sign me the hell up. Now, folks, let me know. Let me hear your thoughts on how you're feeling about this. This is just, again, a remarkable move by the Mets. I truly could not be happier with what they have done in this deal, guys. Out of all the potential moves that they could have made, Tyler Anderson would have made plenty of sense from the Pittsburgh Pirates. But no, they went and got a Southpaw, Rich Hill, who has playoff experience, that knows what it takes to win, who has been through it all left and right. Yes, I know he's a seasoned vet. Yes, I know he's 41, but it does not matter when you are Rich Hill. He defies the odds. Age is not a factor for a young man like him. Oh, I see Trevor May is really hyped to have Rich Hill coming to the Mets because they were teammates during his time with the Minnesota Twins. So I'm very happy for Trevor May. He gets a buddy, so that's fantastic. So again, guys, oh my goodness, this was just such a smart move for our Amazings folks. So continue, let me know your thoughts. Smash that like, smash that subscribe on. Just chiming in. If you could help us get to 100 likes for the first short-term goal to my 200 plus viewers, it would really mean a lot. Let's go. Yes, awesome deal. Who the Mets will get during the trade deadline. But don't forget, he's 41. But again, the age is not a factor with Rich Hill. If it was, he would have retired years ago. Have a good one, Kyle. Thank you for being here, my man. Let's see. Just need to hitting outfielder, a right hand who can that can hit Merrifield, and a bullpen arm too. I mean, Merrifield is a player that the Mets are monitoring, and that's why we just did a video on him in my video yesterday. So definitely check that out if you haven't. I could see the Mets adding themselves another outfielder. I don't think the Mets will add another outfielder, though, unless it's a guy that's a versatile who plays both the infield and the outfield, like a Chris Bryant, like a Whit Merrifield, if you will. Even to an extent, an Adam Frazier, even though Frazier is a guy that is looking like he's a high asking price from the Pirates, so it doesn't feel nearly as likely. Similar to Whit Merrifield. That's why rentals are going to be guys that the Mets really target. You're going to the doubleheader on Monday? Awesome. Yeah, I actually think I'll be in attendance, too, as long as the Mets don't make any trades then that I'm not able to cover. But again, guys, continue. Let me know your thoughts here on Rich Hill landing to the New York Mets, guys. This was a brilliant move on their end. I think we should also just take into account, guys, that yes, Rich Hill has not looked good over his past 7 starts, but given his age at 41 and actually being healthy this year, there could be some fatigue factors that go into it as well. So Hill's a guy that I think we're going to see him have his ebbs and flows throughout the year where he's kind of up, kind of down. No less, the Mets needed starting pitching depth desperately, and they got it and then some with Rich Hill, and that's why I love it so much. Rich Hill is a starter, right? Yes, Rich Hill is a starter. Where when the Mets starting pitchers get healthy, do McGill and Hill go to the pen? Here's the thing. The Mets, like I said, I believe that they're going to land one more starting pitcher in this rotation. The only way McGill and Hill get pushed out of the rotation is if they are outperformed by the other guys. So that means that whoever is the other pitcher the Mets land, because I feel strongly they'll get at least one more, and that means Carlos Carrasco and or Noah Syndergaard all outperform them. If they don't, then they're not going to be put in the rotation because the Mets are not going to have this we're down the stretch. A Cookie Carrasco that maybe he isn't performing up to par yet, but he's still trying to get in a groove. And same thing with Noah Syndergaard. I highly doubt the Mets are going to for sure give them the keys to the rotation and bet on them when there's uncertainty with how they're going to do, given them coming off injuries, of course, and not looking too hot to start out off the IL. And the situation where that's how they're performing. If they're dominant right out of the gate and then continue to do so, then yeah, you're going to have the best guys stay in the rotation, the guys that aren't as good statistically that have been performing for the Mets outside the rotation, and then they will most likely be put in the bullpen or use them as, say, a long arm reliever, get creative come playoff time. No less, they have plenty of options, and this was a move that really, really is going to help solidify things for them. But they're not done yet. Worry, why do I want Chris Bryant? We really don't need him. Louis, we don't need Chris Bryant, but he would be a fantastic ad for them. He helps take them over the top of what they currently are. Trust me. He has not been a terrible hitter for 2 months. He's had a very strong July. Did not have a good June where he slumped, but he's looking a lot better in July. Hi, Worry. I sent you info about Rich Hill. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Shout out to you, Dave. Love you, buddy. You think we will trade for a bat? Yes, I do. I think the Mets are still going to land one more bat, and I think they're going to land at least one more starter, and I do believe they're going to add potentially one more reliever. I expect 3 moves for the Mets to happen within the next week. I'm looking at one more bat, one more starter, one more reliever, and I think that's all realistic right now from all that the Mets have reported on and shown as of late. So, again, guys, continue to let me know your thoughts. So happy to have you all here. So pumped about this move for the New York Mets. Like I said, this is just, it makes too much sense. And thank you so much, Michael, for the kind words. I'm happy to have you here. It makes too much sense for the Mets on why they made this deal. It truly does. From the Rays side of things, a guy that has not been performing as good as of late, and they have plenty of starting pitching depth, they don't need him. So it's a win-win scenario for both clubs. I think someone to bolster the bench would be great. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea too. Let's see here. More comments. Hi, Tyler. What do you take Craig Kimbrel over Edwin Diaz? Kimbrel has been the better closer this year, yes, but I don't see the Mets taking Kimbrel in that contract. The same reason why the Mets did not land guys like Brad Hand and Trevor Rosenthal in the offseason, because they demanded closing roles and the Mets couldn't commit that to them because they have Diaz. I don't see how the Mets would somehow, some way be all locked in on Kimbrel now when Kimbrel, while he's been dominant, he is on a horrendous contract that I know the Mets probably don't want anything to do with. So while anything is possible, I feel that is very, very unlikely that Kimbrel. And look, if you pick Kimbrel, you're going to put him out as a save guy. How has Edwin Diaz done in non-save situations this year? Say he's in the 8th. Horrendous. No need for the Mets to be doing that. I think the Mets should add at least another reliever, but I don't think that they're going to be getting Craig Kimbrel, in my humble opinion. And we're just under 10 likes away from 100, guys. So again, thank you all so much for being here. Please continue to smash that like and subscribe on if you're enjoying the stream. Again, guys, if you're just chiming in, if you're wondering what is going on, what the heck is happening? What is happening is the Mets have landed Rich Hill, veteran Southpaw, 41 years of age. Yes, I know that he has not looked as great over his past 7 starts, but rest assured, this is exactly what the Mets needed. They got themselves a Southpaw, and they gave up absolutely nothing to land him. Outside a top 30 prospect and a low A catcher, and Tommy Hunter, a reliever who the Mets signed on a 1-year deal this offseason and is out for the year with injury more than likely. Awesome move for the Mets. Absolutely love it. So again, guys, continue to let me know your thoughts here. So happy to have you all here. This is going to be interesting too, because we may very well see Rich Hill pitch as soon as this Monday. That's what Sunday, pardon me. Davies is one of the worst starters in baseball. No, he's not. Again, if the Mets find themselves landing a Zach Davies and say a Chris Bryant deal, you're just adding further starting pitching depth. So no, Zach Davies, while he's nothing crazy, he's not a guy that, yes, is going to be dominant. We know that too. Either way, though, smart move for the Mets. I'm just absolutely love this. You're a fan of this. Awesome, Stacy. and the Mets were to get Bryant and maybe the end of Conforto's Met run, there's potential there that could be, but at the same time, the Mets can keep them both. Mets can find themselves re-signing Bryant and still being under the luxury tax next year, depending on how they go about other aspects of the lineup. So again, we'll see what happens. But the Mets, if they're going to go over the luxury tax, Zach Scott said it best, they're going to go over it big. There's no need to do it small. So Mets have plenty of money they're working with. Thank you, Ray, for the kind words. Appreciate you. See your tweet on Twitter. Who did we exchange for Rich Hill? It's all on the screen in front of you, my friend. It's Tommy Hunter, who the Mets gave up, and it is also a low A catching prospect that's outside of the top 30 for the Mets. So Mets gave up theoretically nothing here. What's going on with Jordan Yamamoto? Jordan Yamamoto's been on the 60-day IL. Trust me, he's not a guy the Mets will be banking on at all this year. He was strictly starting pitching depth that they added for times that guys get injured, but unfortunately for his sake, he found himself getting injured as well. Oh, okay. And someone just mentioned this too, and that's a great point. I think, we're going to see Rich Hill either on Sunday for the Mets make his Mets debut or potentially Monday, as someone commented as I put out on Twitter. And that's a great point as well. So I think Sunday or Monday is pretty much a lock that we will see Rich Hill. But again, we'll see what happens. So anything's still possible there. Ray Cheney. Oh, Ray, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that, my friend. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm going to lag, but it's only going to be for like a second. I just need to do something here to turn monetization on for my actual stream because I realized I had it off. But again, thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. If you're enjoying the stream, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe on again. Again, this is breaking news that the Mets have in fact landed Rich Hill. Very, very smart move from the Mets side of things. Absolutely love it. This is the exact kind of guy that they've been needing for a while now, really. Not just any type of starting pitching depth, but they needed a guy that could be a Southpaw, that has playoff experience. If you look at the Mets rotation right now, they don't have a whole lot of playoff experience with guys that have been healthy at least. Marcus Stroman has had a little stint in playoffs where he performed well. Taijuan Walker has not. Jacob deGrom has. But again, for Jake, it's been a while. It's been 2015 a while. So you want to add not just depth to this rotation, but you want to add experience as well. That's exactly what they got here. So I'm very much in favor for it. Very, very happy about what has transpired with the Mets here making this deal happen. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just fixing my software right now. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. They trade McKinney. Yes, they did. Yeah, I thought I didn't make a video on it just because it was a smaller move that I knew was going to happen. I love Billy Mack, but there was no room for him on the roster. So the Mets actually got themselves a very solid hitter in Double-A for McKinney, which I'm not against at all. They got something for nothing, essentially. And I love Billy Mack, wishing him the best with the Dodgers. Would have been nice if the Mets could have kept him, but at the same time, with more trades that they're going to be making leading up to the trade deadline, odds are there would have been even less room for him to even be on the bench for the Mets. So I understood it, and I like the player that they got back that would be in the minors. So I'm not against that move at all. But again, wishing Billy Mack the best. Thoroughly enjoyed his time with the Mets. Absolutely loved him. And Michael, thank you so much, my man, for being a huge fan. I'm happy to have you here. Let's see. Doesn't matter that he was the 40th ranked Dodgers prospect, because one, Dodgers have an awesome prospect pool, and two, you get something for nothing. That's why I wasn't fazed by it at all. I'm worried. Did you expect the Mets would get him? I did not. I did not think the Mets were going to get Rich Hill because I was really focused on Tyler Anderson from the Pirates. Because again, and this goes in hand with the offseason, guys, a lot of the moves that the Mets make have not been too in line with what has been reported. While Rich Hill checks off all the boxes for what the Mets are looking for with starting pitching depth right now that can pitch Sunday or potentially Monday at the doubleheader. But not just that, but you're also getting a guy with playoff experience, but he's a southpaw. More than he's a southpaw. And that's why they were showing plenty of interest in Tyler Anderson too. So I think Tyler Anderson at this point in time is off the board for the Mets to add. I think I truly believe if the Mets add another starter, it'll be more significant, if you will. I do not think that Jose Barrios is completely out of thought for the Mets, but you could say that there is a decent argument to be had that maybe it's a little less likely. But again, we'll see what happens. I don't think Barrios is out of question yet. I think you're, again, looking at guys like Barrios, looking at Gibson. You're looking at others, whether it's John Gray from Colorado, who's been pitching pretty well. Potentially one of the pitchers from the Reds if they are available at the right price. You have your options there, and it's going to be exciting. I'm very much looking forward to what is going to transpire over literally the next week for the New York Mets and their deals. And if there is one more upside, guys, if Rich Hill does start on Sunday for the Mets, at least he's facing a team that he has, good experience against. And thank you so much, you two, AB. Have a great one. Rich Hill has seen the Toronto Blue Jays this year, as we know, during his time with Tampa. So that is another upside to the situation here. Should he start on Sunday, it's not like he's facing off against a club that he has not performed against at all this year. So guessing Hamels' workout didn't go well. No, there actually are multiple teams that have shown interest in Hamels. I just think that the Mets didn't feel that he was better than what you're getting with a guy like Rich Hill right now. And that's perfectly fine. So I really, really satisfied about this, guys. And I hope you guys are too. So again, thank you all so much for being here. We'll be going for a little bit longer, guys, here in the stream. I'd say we'll probably be going upwards of, I honestly don't know how much longer we'll go. We'll go for a little bit longer at least, and then take it from there. But no less, the Mets find themselves in a very unique position now. And I'm so glad you brought this up, Colby. I don't know why I didn't say this sooner. Trevor May and his connection with Rich Hill, we know that. But then you're, of course, going to have Jeremy Hefner's connection with Rich Hill. I'm an idiot. Why didn't I think about that during his time with the Twins? I am a jokester for that. So stupid on my part. But no less, that's another great point. I'm so happy you brought that up, Colby, because I don't know why that blew over my head. I really don't. But yes, Rich Hill does have a connection with Jeremy Hefner, the Mets pitching coach during their time in Minnesota, which makes this that more appealing, might I add. LFGM, absolutely, Tim. Happy to have you here. Is there any news when Carrasco and Noah and their return? I mean, Cookie was lined up to be back with them at Sunday, but that's probably going to get pushed now because he got shelled in his AAA Syracuse rehab start. So he'll get pushed a couple more days, and I would assume either that or maybe he'll start one of the doubleheader games, knowing that it's only 7 innings. So it's potential that we could see him in one of those. No new Bartolo sightings? No new Bartolo sightings, David. No new Bartolo sightings. That's fine. Every year, people always bring up Bartolo, guys. I love Bartolo, but it's not happening. I don't know where Cole Hamels is going. I honestly don't. LFGM, love this treat. I'm a diehard Mets fan. I'm a big fan. Oh, thank you so much, Drew. Happy to have you here, buddy. Again, happy to have all you Mets and baseball fans here. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Want story engraved for McNeil and 2 minor leaguers. Dave, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that, buddy. Hut. Who's Hut, Dave? I don't know who you're talking about. Hut wants story engraved for McNeil and 2 minor leaguers. I don't know who that is, but whoever's proposing that is smoking something real good because they have that's barking up the wrong tree. That is not going to happen at all. But again, I don't know who that is. No less so, Dave, my man, thank you so much for the donation as always, buddy. I really, really appreciate that. Mets should go after Ian Kennedy. He's been having a low-key good season. But that's not a terrible option either. Again, the Mets have plenty of options of what they can do going forward, not just pitching-wise, relievers-wise, and position-wise. So I think they're going to be – look, this was a guy that I did not have on my Mets radar since the offseason. That's when the Mets originally showed interest in him. So, yeah, I'm surprised by it, but it makes so much sense. It checks off all the boxes. Do I think Hill is better than Montgomery and Tyone? I mean, considering the Mets wouldn't be interested in either of them, from that standpoint, yes. I do. Do I think he's better than Montgomery? I would say right now you can make that argument that yes. Montgomery's younger, though, we know. And Tyone's been pitching better as of late, but he's not a southpaw either. So, yeah, I don't really know why you asked that kind of question. Is McNeil not the same McNeil anymore? McNeil's looking more and more like the same McNeil. McNeil, since coming off the IL, has been batting over 300, has been on a 10-plus game hanging streak. McNeil, while he has been a little bit more consistent this year and had a terrible start, he's looking far better. McNeil's looking a lot more locked in. He's not looking as emotional when he's at the plate. Dave, you say Baseball Hut on YouTube. Yeah, Dave, I don't really know who that is. I'd have to look him up, but I'm assuming he's another Mets guy. But yeah, people. I don't agree with everyone's proposals, but again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's okay. I asked that question because my boys are Yankees fans, and I think this trade for Hill is bad, but they are biased Yankees fans. Oh no. I mean, statistically, Rich Hill is the better pitcher than those both. So there's that. I mean, this was a very smart move for the Mets. Trust me, made so much sense for them. Let's go Mets. Absolutely, Andrew. Yes. Just brilliant move from the Mets side of things, guys. So if you're excited, I will say this, though, Mets fans, about not just this move for Rich Hill or everything else that's going to be happening for the Mets here until the trade deadline. Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button again if you're streaming, if you're watching this live or on replay. It would really mean a lot, guys. And just let me know. Let me hear your predictions in the chat, guys, before we get out of here, what you think is going to be best for the Mets going forward, trade-wise, leading up to the trade deadline that we are going to inevitably talk about here on the channel once more deals are made. Let me hear it. Oh, thank you so much for the donation, LSD. I think you meant to say botch versus bitch there, but no less, I appreciate the dono, buddy. I hope Acuna's surgery goes well. I really do. I have no ill will against Acuna other than him being a Mets killer because, of course, he's a Brave. I live in Toronto. I'm cheering for the Mets next 3 games. Wow, that's saying a lot. I don't know how. Oh, interesting. You live in Toronto, but you're a Mets fan, maybe? No less, thank you so much. I appreciate that, my friend. Mets need another solid reliever. Yes, they do. Bullpen is getting tapped. Yep, you're 100% right. I fully expect the Mets to get another reliever. I'm not going to the July 30th game because that's the day of the trade deadline, and I know the Mets are going to be active. Did I like the Billy Mack trade? Yeah, I don't have an issue with it, considering Billy Mack had no more room on this roster. What do I think of the Chris Bryant trade takes? Depends what takes you're talking about, Nick. I know that S&Y's come out with a lot of them. I don't think either of them have really been that realistic. I thought one of them was very much in favor of the Mets, and one of them was very much in favor of the Cubs, and there really wasn't a middle. So I'm very much in favor of Chris Bryant. I think he makes so much sense for this club at the right price. And I do feel that if the Mets, in fact, land Chris Bryant, they're not going to give up a haul like I know some of you guys are worrying. But it's really all going to come down to a bidding war. And if the Mets find themselves in that scenario, maybe they do a pivot like other players that we have discussed on the channel that would also equally make sense, but they have more control on the contract. So that way, if you are going to give up more of a haul, at least you're getting a guy that isn't a rental. But I do know that Zach Scott did state in his podcast a couple days ago where he was appearing on John Heyman's podcast for the MLB. Check that. I have that in the description of my previous 2 videos, guys, down below. So check that out. But Zach Scott did make note that the Mets are basically like, they know that rentals are going to be the hot commodities leading up to the trade deadline, and that's what they will find themselves going after. Brios, Bryant, and Merrifield. Dave, sign me up. I don't see all those 3 happening, Dave. I think 2 of those 3 are possible. It's hard to say likely, but I think they're possible. I don't see the Mets getting both Bryant and Merrifield. I see them getting one or the other. If we're asking, like which ones, I think that one of them could very well find themselves landing Queens. But again, I think Bryant is the man to beat position player wise. I don't really think there's other players that are more of a priority than him for the Mets side of things right now. Position-wise, not talking about pitching. Baez's Story is now the realm of possibility either. There is intrigue with Story, especially given the potential pitcher you could get in a John Gray, and with Baez, same thing potentially with Zach Davies. But Baez, he's huge swing and miss. He sucks getting on base. He has power in his bat, though. We know that he's a phenomenal glove. He has more versatility than Trevor Story does in the infield because he can play second base pretty well. During his time in Puerto Rico, he did that too. Either way, though, I don't think the Mets will land Trevor Story or Baez, but I know that door is open and they're exploring all their options. And I think it's going to come down to the right price. I do believe the Mets are going to land one of these bigger name position player rentals. That's what I do feel pretty confident about. Yes, one team wants Story to play center. Yeah, I believe that's the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken, too, because it makes perfect sense. The Yankees need outfield help, and they want Story. You're like, you know what? We'll throw him in center, even though it doesn't really make sense. But, they've been toying with everyone in the outfield this year. Good job getting a new phone, Matt. Happy to have you here again, buddy. With that being said, though, guys, we're going to go on for the stream for just another, I'd say, 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to get out of here. So, again, thank you so much for being here, everyone. If you guys don't know, I will be live again tonight, probably 10 to 15 minutes before the game start against the Blue Jays. It'll be myself alongside Jim at Ballcap Sports, and then we will also have Blue Jays Today will be with us. So that way we have Blue Jays discussions and Mets discussions, sharing play-by-play commentary, color commentary, all that fun stuff for the first game of this pivotal series between the two clubs. First time they're matching up, only time they're matching up this season, I believe. It's going to be a big game. Steven Matz's return to Queens. It's tonight, baby. And then we got Tyler McGill on the mound, so it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited for it. You too, my friend. Thank you, Preving. Missed it earlier, but what are your thoughts on this trade? Do the Mets get a steal? Yes, the Mets for sure got a good trade here. Love it. And I would suggest going back in the stream a little bit too to hear my initial thoughts from the beginning. But yes, Mets got themselves a Southpaw. They've desperately been needing in the rotation. Pitching depth, a guy that can start for them Sunday or Monday, potentially in the doubleheader. And veteran guy with plenty of experience. Really smart move, if you ask me. I love it. I really do. This just makes a lot of sense. You think Rich Hill kind of sucks? Everyone's entitled to their opinion, Brandon, but again, makes perfect sense for them why they did this deal. I don't think Rich Hill sucks. He's been slumping as of late, but he doesn't suck. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, Eric. Happy to have you here, my friend. Yeah, plenty of content here, Mets related. You can bet that. Tampa is no dummy organization. They aren't, but they did not get anything significant outside of a low A catching prospect that could maybe be something for them years down the line, which again does not hurt the Mets whatsoever because they have plenty of catching depth right now with Francisco Alvarez being the front runner as their top prospect overall. Just glad it isn't Jason Vargas. If Rich Hill sucks, what do you think about Nick Tropiano? That's funny. Rich Hill's stats went down right after the sticky stuff. Yes, but their fatigue can also be a factor as well, given his age. So I think that they go in hand. I don't think that Rich Hill has been using crazy sticky stuff. I think he's been more noted because he's been having this kind of break and this kind of nifty southpaw all throughout his career. I think it could be a grip issue with him as well because a lot of pitchers have been having to do in-season adjustments on not having your typical, sunscreen rosin and all these other things. And, pine tar, even like stuff that is pretty common in the game of baseball for pitching, but especially sunscreen and rosin mixed together is very, very common. That helps with grip. So that's something that I could feel is a factor as well. AL ERA is not the same as NL ERA. That's another good factor. Your fantastic point. Yeah. Guy also realized that Rich Hill has been pitching in one of the toughest divisions of all baseball. Definitely number 2 in my mind, right behind the NL West, because the AL East has been stacked between the Red Sox, as we know, Toronto Blue Jays with the hottest offense in the league. Yankees, of course, can still get the job done. Have been very up and down this year, though, but have their moments of breaking out. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I know Hill's spin rate has been way down recently. And it'll be interesting to see how he does, but no less, it doesn't. We don't need him to be a complete sub 3 ERA pitcher. We don't need that. We just need Rich Hill to eat innings and give the Mets a chance every single fifth start he has. That's all the Mets need. Matthew, no one's ignoring you, buddy. I don't know what you're talking about. Mats should get a good hand. Then we have to go out and blast him. Absolutely, Dave. 100%. 100%. With that being said, though, guys, that's going to conclude today's stream. A little bit of a shorter one. Normally on a good day, I'd be trying to push this upwards of 2 hours, but we have to get a lot set up ready for tonight's stream as well. Everything in between before that. So again, thank you all so much for being here. This was a fantastic one. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys are excited that Rich Hill has in fact landed in Queens with the New York Mets. The Mets gave up basically nothing for him. So I hope to see you guys in my stream later tonight. More great content coming on the channel. Of course, if you enjoyed this stream, enjoyed the discussion on everything there is to know about Rich Hill and his game and what the Mets gave up here. And if you're looking forward to, of course, more trades happening by the trade deadline and in-game live streams down the stretch as the Mets are trying to make a deep playoff push, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe. Again, would really mean a lot. But thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in a couple hours for the in-game live stream between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Mets. Have a great one, guys. Let's go Rich Hill, baby.